Welcome back to the Crypto Trends Podcast, where we cover all things cryptocurrency, blockchain, Web 3.0, and AI. I'm Robert Croak, and I'm joined by my co-host, Armando Pantoja. Both of us and our amazing team are excited to bring you the best information, guidance, and strategies each and every Wednesday. So follow along and always remember to take notes and take action. So something that I want to bring up today before we get into our talking points is a little task that I want to put out to all of our listeners and followers. And that is, I want you to take a piece of paper, napkin, you can draw it with chalk on the sidewalk, put it in your computer, your phone, I don't care. I want you to make a pros and cons list right now. As soon as this episode is over, I want you to write pros over here, cons over here. And then what I want you to do is fill up the list of pros and cons of what is happening in the crypto markets right now. So when I think of the last few weeks of the crypto market, we've got JPMorgan Chase announcing XRP to be used for credit card payments and mortgages. We've got Morgan Stanley allowing 15,000 of their advisors to start selling Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs to their clients. We've got JPMorgan Chase announcing they are allowing XRP to be used to pay credit card payments and mortgages. And then we also have the XRP settlement occurred at a very good number. So if I were to go down and make this pro list, it would be very long of all the great news that's happening in cryptocurrency right now. But then when I go to the con side of the list, I can't think of one negative thing that is happening in the crypto markets, yet all of you are still panicking. You're not listening, and you're not looking at this from an open lens, that macro understanding of the markets. You're looking at it of, oh shit, you're just looking at the prices. This has to end because you're missing out on the point, and that is adoption through countries, large investment firms, all the biggest family offices, all of the largest companies in the world are developing on the blockchain, and you're not looking at that because you're so worried about the day-to-day price. You have to stop doing that. You have to remember to zoom out and look at it from a long-term level, because remember, we are here to guide you to be investors, and investors think long-term. So I wanted to get that out of the way first because I was thinking of it from a pro and con perspective the other day, and I couldn't think of anything that was negative happening in the crypto space right now. So I thought it was good to get that out of the way. Let me rant a little bit on that. But I'd like you to do this exercise for yourself and really try to help you understand the status of where the crypto markets are going and what is happening.
Yeah, and I want to add to that point there is that we're at about 58, 59, 60,000 when we're filming this. We're at 70, 80% of the all-time high.
Yep.
And people still are panicking. And I think that panic comes from not really understanding what they're investing in. Like the things you're talking about that's happening under the scenes. That's why you have to listen to things like this. You have to stay on top of the market because it's very important to understand what you're investing in, and that panic goes away.
I agree. So let's get into talking point number one. XRP options have been skyrocketing, and this surge in options activity really reflects the growing optimism around a possible XRP ETF. And I think all of this adds to that pro side of the pro and con list that we talked about, because we just saw the settlement happen. I don't believe we're going to see an appeal, and I think this is so important to further bolster XRP's future and the crypto market's future, because if you think about it, you mentioned in a couple episodes ago where XRP was struggling to get top talent because it's been sequestered for so long under the court case. And I think this is another really highlight of where XRP is going, and the fact that it is not a dead currency and that it has great potential moving forward. And this call option activity really illustrates that.
Now, some of our listeners may not understand what call options are. I'm going to try to break it down in a simple way and how it relates to this XRP going up into the future, right? When we say options are surging, that means that there's a lot of people buying options at a particular price point at a particular expiration date. So right now, people are buying the 110 strike price. What that means is that people buying this are expecting XRP to pass that $1 10-cent mark. Now, this is significant because options are a way that traders can use leverage, right? They can buy a small amount by an option of a certain asset, and if the asset passes that strike price that they have, they make a lot of money, right? So sometimes it's a gamble, but other times it's not if you expect something to happen. Now, the traders are gathering around at this price. That shows you that there's something big that is happening behind the curtains that we don't know about right now. And I expect to see XRP to meet that price very soon.
So let's take a moment and let's talk through this. Options, approvals, settlements, everything for XRP. My DMs, like yours, are filled with people. So what does this mean for the XRP price? There's no more excuses for XRP. Where is it going to go by the end of the year? Where is it going to go in 2025? Give our listeners your best guess from all of your research and all the work you do. Where do you see XRP at the end of this year?
So we want to start from where I think XRP should be right now, right? Back in January of 2000, Ethereum hit its peak. It was at around 370, 380.
Yep.
Now, at the time, Bitcoin was around right under $20,000. It was around 17, 18. So if you look at that parity between those two, so every 20,000 in the Bitcoin should equal about $3.75 for Ethereum. So every $17,000 that Bitcoin rises, we should also see XRP going up $3.75. That's normally how a lot of altcoins move, is that Bitcoin drives the market. And a lot of other coins will be caught up in that tide, and they rise as well when Bitcoin goes up. That's why we use Bitcoin as a barometer for how the overall market is doing. So even if you just counted that, so that means we're about 3.5 times past that $17,000 mark. So if we take where XRP was at the height and we triple that, we're at about $9, $10, right? And that's just where XRP should be right now. Now, if we take into account the bull cycle that's coming, and we predict a Bitcoin to be at 250, so that's roughly about 4.5 times from where we are today. Now, let's take that $10 mark, we times that by 4. We're at $40. Now, I say 10 to 20. That's being conservative. $40 is just where it should go naturally. But I'm going to be conservative, and I say between $10 and $20 in the next 2 years. I can clearly see XRP being at that price.
Yeah, one of the things that really strikes me as easy to understand in XRP's case is, let's say we were at the original all-time high, 370, 380. I don't know what it was exactly. And now we're down in the 50, 60 cent range. There is no reason that XRP should not get back to its all-time high.
Exactly.
So even at that, we're at a 7-8x from where we are today, even if we had no other growth. So that's something for everyone to consider, is that the all-time high would have kept going along with Bitcoin and everything else. And that's why I'm so excited about XRP. Now that everything is over and there's a clear pathway, I think it's going to be a leader in this bull run as far as growth and adoption throughout the country. And
these predictions that me and Robert are saying is not even counting for innovation. Right. It's not counting for partnerships. It's not counting for central banks all over the world adopting XRP. This is just where it should be because of the overall crypto market rising because of Bitcoin's movement. That's all. That 20 to 40 or 10 to 20, then the max is 40. That's all based on the overall market just pulling it up. Now, if you add in innovation, you add in partnerships, you add in other things that they're doing, it could be a lot higher than 20 or 30 or $40.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm excited for the future of crypto, obviously, but XRP as well. It's good to finally see it over with, and then it's going to be interesting to see if all the people that have been shunning XRP for years now all of a sudden change their tune like they always do. So it'll be interesting to see, but I'm excited for it, and I think everyone should be adding XRP to their bags and dollar cost averaging into it. And really think of it that we don't know the next ETF that's going to be approved. I assume it's going to be XRP, Chainlink, or Solana. But either way, I think that now that the settlement is over, the Ethereum ETF is approved and taking in money, I think it is a green light across the board. And then we just have to hope that we get a president that is really pro-crypto to keep this train moving in the right direction so the U.S. can dominate in innovation in cryptocurrency moving forward. But there is a lot of good news elsewhere as well in the crypto spaces, and we'll get to that later in the episode. So our next talking point is Solana's meme coin frenzy. Is it the next big crypto revolution? We've all seen so much happening with Solana and so many meme coins and everything being built on Solana. And I think the maturity and sustained presence of the meme coins, they're just being recognized more by institutions and investors. And I'm not saying you should go all in on meme coins by any stretch of the imagination. Definitely everyone should be keeping an eye on meme coins and small cap coins for really large opportunities of growth. But just don't become a gambler. Make sure that you maintain being an investor. This is so important. And Solana's support for meme coins really showcases its technical capabilities, especially in handling high transaction volume with lower fees. And so this increase in meme coin activity on Solana's platform should definitely drive broader adoption and support for Solana's native token, SOL. Like I said earlier, don't be YOLOing all your money in on meme coins. But this is always why I say build your base first with Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Chainlink, and some of the other blue chip proven coins, and then have a portion of your portfolio in these small caps and meme coins. Because the last thing I want to see people do is go all in on a meme coin that their barber said they should buy, and then they put in their $1,000 or their $5,000 and lose it. Because every day there's a story about a guy that put in $200 and turned it into $60,000 into a meme coin. But they don't tell you that for every person that did that, there's tens of thousands that lost their $200, and then they go back and tell everyone that crypto is a scam. So be an investor, don't be a gambler.
And I want to add to that, too, is a lot of people, and I actually wanted to create a documentary about the psychology of this, is that when they do get that $60,000 win, it's so easy they end up putting it into another meme coin and losing it all, but you don't hear the second part. They don't tell you they lost. Oh, the money's just in the bank somewhere. A lot of people do that. So Solana is facilitating an environment that allows people to create these meme coins cheaply. Now, one of the biggest problems back in the 2017-18 crypto boom is that a lot of the ICOs back then, initial coin offerings, that was the big thing in 2017, they were built on ERC20 tokens. So during the height of the bull market distribution phase, there was so much congestion on the market that you couldn't even sell. If you had a token that was worth $6, it may have cost you $10 to move it. And one time I was controlling like maybe 500 wallets. They all had a little bit in there. And we got an airdrop, and across those 500 wallets, we had probably about $200,000 or $300,000 that we could take out. But it cost more in gas fees to move it than it was worth. Solana's, and then it also happened with the NFT craze in 2020, is that people would have these NFTs worth 10, 20, 30,000, but it would cost them a lot of money to just move them around. So Solana came around and they said, look, we're going to fix that. We're going to make it easy and cheap for you to create these types of things on our blockchain, right? So it created a lot of buzz. A lot of people are starting to choose Solana over Ethereum because Ethereum has currently high gas prices, but it's created a lot of economic activity on the Solana blockchain. And it's also increasing Solana's valuation. I've been saying that for a while over the next bull cycle because of this. And two, its perception in the crypto industry is getting stronger and stronger as a lot of these meme coins actually started doing big things. So I think it's a good future for Solana over the next 2 years.
You heard it here first. And we have to also look at Solana's development environment is becoming a lot more attractive for developers out there that are looking to build scalable and efficient applications. And that's one of the most important things, because with this growing ecosystem, it really supports not just meme coins, but also serious decentralized platforms and applications. And that really expands Solana's market influence. And I think that's an important part too, because a couple years ago, only the really serious people even talked about or knew about Solana, and now they've just had so many wins in the meme coin space and in these decentralized applications that I think it's a big future for Solana, and I'm glad we're talking about it today.
Let me ask, what's your prediction?
I don't have one. I was happy to see us at $250 or $300 just because Solana is not one of my larger holdings, but definitely it's just one of those where we're always telling everyone out there that'll listen, bet on the jockeys, bet on the teams, bet on the communities, and bet on the really good projects, and don't leverage so much of your money into these meme coins and these fly-by-night projects, because in the end, you'll likely lose your money. And Solana is just a strong project. I love it for the future.
Yeah, meme coins are very risky, right? Anybody can create a meme coin overnight, really, like in a couple of hours. They have the graphics, they have their logo, everything, the website up in 2 or 3 hours. So you have to be careful going forward. There's some gems in there, but they're far and few between. And it's okay to play with them a little bit, but just keep that in mind that 99% probably will go to zero eventually.
Yeah, there's actually a Croak meme coin out there right now. It's called the Croak coin, and they've got a frog, and they've got the whole thing. And just make sure you understand, I am not connected to it. I do not suggest you invest in it. I have nothing to do with it. They just took my name and made a meme coin, and good for them, but just don't trust that. Do not be a gambler, be an investor.
One of the first meme coins that was fashioned after a celebrity was a Kanye West coin. And it came out, surprisingly, 10 years ago, right? And when it was right about to hit the market, it was the only one I knew. At the time, it was maybe 20 cryptos in the world that we knew of. And this was before ERC20 tokens. This was before you could create your own token very easily. So you had to do a lot of work to create your own blockchain. And somebody came out with a Kanye West coin. It was like Kanye, and it was like a fish or something. And Kanye found out about it, got his lawyers to shut it down. He saw that crypto was still seen as a scam back then. He didn't know what it was, so he got his lawyers on it. They shut the project down. But it had a lot of hype behind it. People were talking about it. So I always wonder what could have been with that.
Yeah, if we find a utility, that's the key. Don't invest in these projects that don't have a future and don't have a utility in a use case, because then it could be a rug pull and you're just not going to make money. So let's go into our next talking point, which globally, and that is Russia shakes the crypto world and legalizes mining. This is huge considering that they've been so against crypto for years and years. And with them legalizing crypto mining, I think it will have a huge impact on the global crypto markets. And I think it will likely help other countries reconsider their stance on crypto mining. And I think this will lead to just so much more crypto-friendly policy globally. Look at what crypto is doing globally, because this is a global market sector. And it's very important to understand what's happening from a macro perspective.
What we're seeing here is global game theory playing itself out, right? Is that first everybody thought Bitcoin was a scam and they tried to repress it. Every major country, including Russia, United States, and China, tried to repress it because they saw it as a competitor to their currency.
Yep.
And it was dangerous, right? So over the years, what's happened is crypto, if Bitcoin specifically, can't be stopped, right? It's one of the only technologies in the world that I almost compare to a virus. Is that once it starts, you can't stop it because it's so distributed. There's so much incentive to keep the network going, and the network's all over the world. So if the United States shuts down everything here, then another country's going to take it over. But if those two countries shut it down, and China also, and then the smaller countries are going to take it. So somebody will profit from this greatly. So what countries are starting to see, including the United States, we're seeing it in our election, in the campaigns on both Harris and the Trump side. We see China starting to, there's rumors that China is creating a vast mining network. They're not talking about it. Now we see Russia openly say they're going to start pushing mining in their country. And the United States, and something else that came out is that Riot blockchain, every block that they create now, they're stamping the words made in USA on it through the messaging system. So this is now becoming a global game in competition over cryptocurrency. It's game theory playing out. So I encourage you guys to please pay attention, because this is a huge change that's happening globally. It's not, crypto is not something anymore that you just play around with or something that we're just looking at. This is serious, and it's going to be something that drives your world for the next 30 years.
And it's important for everyone to understand, when we talk about the U.S., a lot is going to change, and already is right before our eyes, in AI, crypto mining, crypto development in the United States. And I think that's an entirely different sector we could be talking about right now when it comes to investing. And that is so much of the software and the chips and all of the development that's happening with Taiwan Semiconductor and Intel and NVIDIA. A lot of these companies are moving gigafactories and building them in the United States. And that opens up an entirely different different opportunity for investing for the picks and shovels side of things, because the U.S. is going to need a tremendous of infrastructure build out in the utility sector. And I think that's why we need a president that's going to really back cryptocurrency for the future, because the U.S. could pull off turning back time and becoming that superpower in manufacturing again, in tech, whereas for years we've lost that battle to China and Taiwan and some of the other countries. So I think it's a great time to be alive in the United States, and a lot of tremendous opportunities in crypto, AI, Web 3.0 moving forward in the United States.
Talking about global competition, right, is that Russia just made this announcement. China's doing stuff. The United States is becoming heavily involved in cryptocurrency. Or we're going to see a huge wave of innovation, because these countries have to compete, and these countries have vast resources to pay companies like NVIDIA or AMD for those chips and for that hardware. We're going to see a lot of innovation in hardware from that extra flow of money, tax breaks
already
for
happening.
Miners.
Yep.
There's going to be a lot that's going to happen all over the world. You're going to be incentivized within the next 5 years to be in crypto or mine crypto, because the countries have to, whoever controls the hash rate. Now, the hash rate is global. We're going to talk about Bitcoin specifically. That means like the total processing power of the Bitcoin network. Whoever controls the most of that has the most influence or power over the Bitcoin network. So this is going to be a huge competition over the next few years to try to take as much of that as possible so that you can have more influence on the Bitcoin network, especially on the country level.
And that's why I'm so bullish on the energy side of things. It takes a tremendous amount of energy to develop and run these mining operations and these gigafactories. And we have to remember that opens up even further opportunities, because in energy, it doesn't just have to be electric. It could be nuclear. It could be solar. It could be gas. It could be all of these things, because that sector, the energy is agnostic, and it really doesn't matter where it comes from. So everyone needs to be paying attention behind the scenes of where the companies are moving, because of the fact there's going to be so many opportunities around what we would call AI and cryptocurrency moving forward in the United States in the next couple of years. So let's get into our next talking point. And this one was a little surprising to me when we read up on this, and that is Cardano rockets to the top 3 in development activity in the markets right now. And I thought that was an interesting headline. I had to read it twice and make sure that I was understanding it, because Cardano surpassed Ethereum in recent development activity. And I thought that was really huge, because we haven't heard a lot from Charles. We haven't seen a lot with Cardano. We both have our bags of Cardano. I haven't added any, but I haven't sold any. And with the upcoming hard fork, it really demonstrates Cardano's commitment to enhancing blockchain security and governance. And I think it's really good news. I don't know what that's going to mean for the price action coming forth in the next few months, but it was certainly good to see some really strong news out of the Cardano camp. I have a pretty big bag, but I haven't bought any in years, so I'd like to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, it's a huge move for Cardano. We haven't heard about it in a couple of years, really, but I'll still stay bullish on Cardano. I'm not as bullish as I am on XRP, Bitcoin, and Ethereum, and maybe 4 or 5 more between Cardano and those 3 that I just mentioned. But I still think Cardano has some potential, right? Is that because we go back to 2015, Ethereum was the first programmable blockchain that existed. And then what happened is that people can now develop decentralized applications, DeFi. They can develop ERC20 tokens and smart contracts. It opened up an entirely new world of what blockchain could do. But the problem at first was that Ethereum was expensive and it was a little slow. So Cardano, all these other ones came out as an alternative to that. Cardano was a cheaper, faster, was supposed to be a cheaper, faster solution, but they've had a lot of developmental issues over the years. So people don't trust it as much as they trust Solana or Ethereum. But now people are starting to see Solana's had some problems with their blockchain over the last 6 months. Ethereum is expensive. So Cardano is another alternative people can use to develop these applications on. So I'm glad to are seeing the potential and the promise in Cardano, and I think it has a bright future. Now, I'm not 100% bullish on it.
Right.
I'm not going to say that.
Right.
But I'm saying it is important to keep your eye on it because it could surprise a lot of us.
Yeah, it definitely surprised me. We haven't really talked about Cardano at all in months and months. I'm always just saying that I felt they fell behind developmentally and they just weren't really keeping up and doing much, so nobody was really talking about it. But with the rise in development activity, especially during a broader market downturn, this is impressive and it really shows strength in their long-term growth opportunities. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with the price action. Like I said, I still hold my bag, but have not added to it for years. Also, with the Chang hard fork on the horizon, we could see further solidifying in its position as one of the top blockchain platforms. And so there's a lot going on with Cardano. We'll see what happens. We'll have to keep our eye on it and go from there and see what the price action looks like.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not 100% bullish on Cardano, but I do think it has a lot of potential, right? They do focus on scalability. They focus on security. A lot of the research and the way that they do things is based in academia. So they do follow that process, which includes peer review. So that tends to slow down development because a lot of people in tech are just going, especially startups in crypto, they're Wild West, right? Got a bunch of guys in an office and they're just shooting from the hip. And now you can move a lot faster like that, but you also create problems in your path. But if you do the academic route, which includes peer review, you move slower, but you create a more robust system, even a blockchain or whatever you're working on. They're doing the right thing, but it also makes them move slow. Right now, I think Cardano's around, its all-time high was at $3. So like right now, Cardano's at 34 cents. Its all-time high was 310. So I can easily see it going back to the all-time high, and somewhere in this next bull cycle, I could see it going to $5 or $6.
Yeah, we'll see with Cardano. I was surprised by the news, but hey, that's why we don't sell our bags. A lot of people, as soon as something goes down a little bit, they give up on it, they sell it, they take the loss, which is fine as well. For me, sometimes when these projects are more of these legacy projects like Cardano, I just always figure if I've got a few $1,000s in there and I've got a nice bag with a really low entry point and dollar cost average price, that it's worth keeping and see what happens. Okay, so let's get into our last point of today's episode, and that is Coinbase had 2 new listings right now. They just announced the listing of Zeta chain and a cross protocol. And so this is to diversify their digital asset offering and really shows their commitment to innovative blockchain projects. And Zeta chain is a layer 1 blockchain focused on interoperability and a cross protocol which introduces optimistic rollups and scalability are significant additions to enhance Coinbase's platform. I feel like they've been a little slow to add new coins lately, so it's nice to see 2 good projects like this being added. What are your thoughts on these? Walk our listeners through. Are these something we should be adding to our portfolios? Should we wait a little while and see? Normally, the rule of thumb is once it makes it to Coinbase, they have a big run. So what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, so any short-term gains are probably going to be related to the overall crypto market because, like you said, once it's listed, the news is already broke. But I think Zeta chain could do a lot of great things in the future. It's very similar to Chainlink, right? These interoperability blockchains are going to allow 2 blockchains to talk to each other, to pass data back and forth, which we're going to need for the innovation that's coming. Now, blockchain, if you think about it objectively, hasn't really been integrated into society yet. This is all speculation, right? Yep. Is that what it's going to do, how much the prices are going to be, where the values are going. All this is speculation. But these types of solutions are what's going to bring it into everyday use in our lives. It's going to bring it into the bank's environment. It's going to bring it into the companies and corporations' environment. These are layer 2 solutions that are pushing the blockchain closer and closer to everyday use. Now, the internet has 7 layers, right? From the bottom all the way up to what we see on the screen, the presentation layer, right? So it took years to develop all of that, right? The internet was created in the 70s by the Defense Department. It took 20 years before we were able to use it every day in our lives, right? And that's the same thing that's happening in the blockchain technology. We started at the bottom and we built another layer and another layer. And finally, we don't even know what's happening at the bottom layer anymore. It's just something that happens behind the scenes. So this is what's happening right in front of our eyes with blockchain technology. The big thing about Zeta chain is that it introduces optimistic rollups. And this is one of the solutions that's going to make Ethereum's gas prices go down. One of the biggest concerns people have with investing in Ethereum is that, oh, the gas fees are so expensive. When I always tell people with time they will come down with solutions like this. Now, what optimistic rollup does is that it moves some data and some transactions off the Ethereum network onto another network. Now, this reduces congestion on the main Ethereum network. Ethereum blockchain. So it reduces gas prices are related to congestion and how much is being used. So if you move some of that data, some of those transactions to other blockchains and still keep that data integrity, then it's going to make it easier for a lot of people to use these solutions to create applications, smart contracts or whatever, and also do it at a low price.
We talk about adoption a lot, and that was a great explanation of how they're fixing these bottlenecks, how they're fixing the congestion, how they're fixing the speed. And one of the simplest ways to understand blockchain and what it's doing for the future of money and finance and real estate and cross-border payments and all of the infrastructure issues that we have as a country is this simple fact. You want to go to a bank and wire someone money. When you do it right now, you have to go to your bank or use your fob. You have to do the wire. Then it has to get approved by the central bank. Then it has to go to the end user's bank. And many times this can take hours, if not days, if it's international, to get to your end user. And one of the simplest ways to look at what blockchain does is it resolves that, because I can send someone money anywhere in the world on blockchain and it can get to them in seconds. I would have to do it in the United States before 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, because that's when they cut off wires. So let's say I missed that and I did the wire after hours, then it would have to wait until the next day. Then it would have to go through all of those chains I said to get to them, and it could be 48 hours before they receive that money. When any emergency, or if they needed food or shelter or whatever, you can't get them the money effectively and quickly, but you can on the blockchain. So that's just one instance of where we're going here to make things quicker, faster, more secure, and just more affordable. So I just wanted to give that reference so everyone could understand it in layman's terms of the best ways moving forward. And that's just one instance of what blockchain is doing and will do to simplify our lives and make it just a better overall situation.
Yeah, I like those points. Me and Robert, we both consider ourselves futurists. And what that means is that you look at a technology, a market or whatever, and you're able to see past what's happening today. Right, is that a lot of people have objections to blockchain technology because they all, oh, it's too expensive, or oh, it's hard to use. Nobody knows how to use it. Now, think about cars when they came out, right, in the early 1900s. You had to get out, wind it up. It was something you had to do. And then it would start up, and it would go maybe a few feet and then putter out. And then you had to get back out, do it all over again. And what if you looked at cars at that moment? Nobody's going to pay that much for that car. The cars were expensive too. But be it the ability to see past that and understand they're going to fix these issues. They're going to fix the cost. They're going to fix it not being dependable. They're going to fix all that. That's the same thing that's happening with blockchain right in front of our eyes with coins, tokens like Zeta or Zeta chain. And that's what's happening right in front of our eyes with tokens like Zeta Chain, is that they're creating a new environment where things are going to be a lot easier to use to the end user. So the thing I like most about this is Coinbase used to be, years ago, they would only put in the top cryptos, right? The top 5, and that's it. And they were very careful what tokens they allowed, because the vote of confidence of Coinbase listing your token can help your project out greatly. Yep. So I'm glad that they're opening the doors a lot wider so that more people can come in. They can help more tokens get the exposure that they need and allow a place where their tokens are liquid and people have access to buy and sell. This helps the crypto and blockchain industry greatly, and I'm glad that they're doing that. And it also helps to diversify Coinbase's listing, because some people may just not want to only get the blue chips. They may want to get a little bit of some more coins that require a lot more speculation. I think Coinbase's stock is going to do well over the next 2 years. I know you're a big bull on Coinbase, and I hear you talk about it a lot. I also agree with you. And there's a lot of innovation and things that are happening that's going to be great going into the future.
I think it's a great point, because when we talk about Coinbase, the easier we can make it for people to buy cryptocurrencies, the quicker the adoption happens. One of the things that has slowed cryptocurrency down as an investing sector is the lack of ease and education in buying cryptocurrencies. Every day a crypto comes out and it's not on Coinbase, what do I do? And then I have to walk them through setting up a wallet, getting their MetaMask set up or whatever to help them buy it. And most people give up because if they don't have access to someone like me or you, do, they don't do it. So that's why Coinbase is going to be one of the biggest platforms on earth. They already are, but it's going to keep growing and growing. And it's a great stock. I think it's a great company. And I think we will see a lot of price appreciation in the Coinbase stock as well.
You mentioned pick and shovel strategy, and that's a perfect pick and shovel strategy for the overall crypto industry.
It really is. Thank you all for joining us. We appreciate you stopping by each and every week. Remember, you can find us on Instagram at Crypto Trends Podcast, as well as on Spotify, Apple, and YouTube. We appreciate you stopping by. If you find value, please share it with a friend. Tell them about the podcast. Get us that 5-star review and help us keep growing and providing you great information each and every week. Thank you.